Welcome to the session on alternative lawyering in the Philippines. This is an opportunity for us to be able to understand what is happening in the field of law in what we call alternative law groups, human rights lawyering, and what may have been popularly known in North America as public interest lawyering. But in the Philippines, we are cutting out a different kind of practice that arises out of the need of several marginalized communities in the country. Marami po sa ating mga graduates sa Ateneo, sa ibang paaralan, nagsasama-sama na ngayon, tinatalakay ang ilang mga mahalagang issue sa lipunan. Sa larangan ng women, children, indigenous peoples, environment, labor sector, for example. Marami at malawak na ang kinitulusan ng ating mga abogado. But this is a phenomenon that has arisen for the last perhaps 15, 20 years or even, when one of the earliest group of lawyers started looking at sectoral concerns, and more particularly the most important issue of the marginalized communities. Today we are benefited with the opportunity to engage two of our very own faculty members in the law school, but now are also engaging the world in their own practice in the alternative law field. We have Atty. Carlos Medina and also Atty. Marlon Manuel. Atty. Carlos Medina, as you know, is the Executive Director of the Human Rights Center, but is very much engaged also in a regional program on establishment of human rights mechanism today. He is also involved in election in an activity called the Legal Network for Fruitful Elections, or LENTE, which is going to be very relevant in the upcoming elections. Professor Medina specializes in constitutional law, humanitarian law, human rights law here at the law faculty. And he has also been engaged with other government agencies like the Philippine Judicial Academy and other non-government organizations on matters of human rights, constitutional law, humanitarian law issues. Our second resource person and storyteller for today is Atty. Marlon Manuel, who is currently the coordinator for the alternative law groups in the Philippines. The alternative law groups in the Philippines is a coalition of legal non-government organizations. See, there was a development of NGOs, but now you have a more particular set of lawyers attending to some of the needs of the non-government organizations who may have been involved in some of the sectoral concerns in the past. He is also very much involved with other concerns with the public and the private sectors. By specialization, he is one of our labor law professors, pre-bar reviewer here at the law school, and has been very much involved, of course, in other test case litigations, just as in the case of Atty. The program for this afternoon will proceed as follows. We will present to you, in this regard, a short documentary as part of our storytelling exercise for you to listen, watch, and hear the context within which these two persons have actually come about representing the alternative law groups and human rights lawyers in the country. And then we will have the opportunity to listen to their testimonies. Each one will have 15 minutes each. And after that, we will have an open forum for the remaining half hour. So we would like to begin our short presentation by telling you the story, the background of how some lawyers now out there in the field have put themselves at risk, sometimes in tackling some of the most important issues of our time. We invite you to this storytelling exercise for you to be able to feel the environment
Meron lang muna dapat ang
Thank you.
petition. Magpasabot, i-dismiss ang petition. Sino na kung may pahibalo tayo, karon, para kabalutang, kung saan nagkahintang sa inyong kaso. Magpasabot, napili dita sa Office of the President. Ilang i-dismiss. Karong adlaw, nadawat nato ang
in my experience, I've been an alternative lawyer for the last 14 years. I think it's just one of the strategies that the farmers adopt in addressing their specific issues. This walk, well, of course, this is I think, very novel and very unique in that sense because this is the first time that farmers have decided to bring their case to Manila, but realizing that they do not have enough resources and they don't want to take up arms, decided to walk for 1,700 kilometers. This walk is about a case of farmers in Bukidnon. I've been involved in this case for more than 10 years. I was very young then, a very young lawyer, fresh graduate from the law school. I wanted to work with the farmers and went into an NGO called Saligan when we were training farmer leaders to become paralegals. Paralegals for us means farmers that works with lawyers, learning the law with them, not only to respond to cases filed in courts, but also to make the public understand why implement agrarian reform in the first place, and why address lack of landlessness, the problem of landlessness among farmers.
The Farmers' March is symbolic, and it describes what the work of the alternative lawyers, the alternative law groups, entails. And the work entails walking with the poor, taking a long journey in pursuit of justice. You cannot just be at the sidelines. You cannot just be watching. And you cannot be at the forefront. You cannot be doing all the work. It's always walking with the poor. It's always working with the poor. And along the way, you meet people. You convince people. You bring the issues of the poor, you explain the issues of the poor to them. You allow the poor to talk. You allow the poor in their very eloquent manner of bringing their issues to those who are in positions of power.
Ang comprehensive agrarian report nyo, 10 taon na po ang nakalipas. Walang implement na nangyari. Ibig sabihin, ayaw sila violation na compliant of the convention order. At paliwanag na sinasabi ng Dalawang Administrative Order. Number 2, Senate 1990. Na dapat hindi na ito para ang petition for non-convention, dapat ang mayor ay mag-issue of notice of cabinet.
I believe that they have the right to the land. I know that the system should work for them. And I know that they are doing this because they know what their rights are. And they have the ability even to articulate what their rights are and what the system should do for them. So in a sense, they are doing the work of the lawyers. The lawyers should be the instruments of justice, but in this case, the people have directly claimed